Okay, so here we have a battle where I'm sailing the Clemson. Some people call it the Clubsome because for a Tier 4 destroyer it's quite powerful. However, this is a Tier 5 match, so I'm not going to be totally overpowered. Plus, each team has an aircraft carrier, so I have to deal with being spotted. Although, spoiler alert, neither one of our aircraft carriers seemed to understand that there was even a west side of the map. The entire battle you're about to see pretty much takes place off camera. Our main body of our fleet spawned to the east, as you can see, and they're now moving up into our base. And I'm just over here with 3 other ships on the western spawn. Now my plan was to head up to this island I'm going toward and smoke up at the first sign of the enemy, let the planes and my shipmates spot for me, and fire torpedoes into the enemy ships I assumed might be coming through that strait into their base or trying to flank around to the west of where I am. And I would be able to sit there for 2 minutes in my nice big American smoke and wreak havoc upon my enemies. Now, the range of my torpedoes is only 5 kilometers, and they're not particularly fast. My detection is 6.1 kilometers, so this is a strategy you kind of have to do in an American destroyer if you want to land torpedoes. That and using islands. And as you can see, there's kind of a lack of islands to the west of me, so I don't really want to go out in the open water there. So here I'm detected. I still don't see any planes, but I pop my smoke anyways, land a good volley, avoid the return fire by hitting the brakes and backing up. I start swinging my bow around because I expected he would have launched torpedoes at me probably at the same moment, so I want to point into him. And I call for spotting because I still don't have any spotting, so I am blind. Now the Clemson can fire torpedoes from both sides, so I continue swinging around. I guess that my opponent would have turned this direction over here heading to the west, and I fire at him where I think he'll be, and then I go back into my smoke, watch out for their planes, and whoops, there he is. He has YOLO'd me and sent torpedoes into my smoke, which I narrowly avoid. So at least now I know where he is. I still don't know where anyone else is, so I don't want to leave the smoke. I still have no spotting whatsoever. But at least, good news, this enemy Clemson is headed right in front of our cruiser. We should be able to deal with him, and in fact just put a bunch of rounds into him. The opponent, the enemy Clemson, smoked up. Now I'm going to use a game mechanic here. I'm charging the island on purpose. I'm going to intentionally ground and be within 2 kilometers of where he disappeared, in which the automatic spot mechanic will kick in. And now the cruiser can see him and hopefully finish him off, and I can't be shot by him. Now I did notice there was a battleship behind me, so I'm a little worried about that in the enemy base, but he's disappeared. Nobody's spotting anybody right now, but the cruiser did kill the destroyer because of my spotting, just like I hoped. And so now I'm fairly confident there's nobody here other than that one battleship, and I know where that battleship is. So I'm going to go cause some mischief by sailing into the enemy base.
Engine boost deactivated.
Now finally, we spot a couple ships on this side from the enemy team, and the enemy kamikaze is heading into our carrier area, which is really bad. But nothing I can do about it at this point, so I'm just going to see here if I can put the hurt on this battleship. Now, since my spotting is 1 kilometer more than my range, I'm going to have to be spotted here. But I zoom in, I let go of my torpedoes where I think he'll be heading. I'm going to assume that he's going to start forward. When he sees me, he'll want to get the angle on me and just be moving to avoid torpedoes, and I call for spotting again in chat. I was confused. For some reason I thought we had 2 aircraft carriers. I think because the last couple games I played, there were 2 aircraft carriers on either team. Now you may have noticed we just lost 2 ships quickly, so we're now behind by a ship and behind on points. Now I do land 2 of those torpedoes, and it causes flooding, and that's really important. So he's flooding. I'm smoked up, given up on any help, so I'm backing up. I was hoping to get a quick glimpse of him, but I didn't get any luck. So I'm just putting out a wide spread in the direction I hope he'll be, and I'm just going to hope some of those torpedoes hit. And I'm going to beach here and swing my ship around so I can fire my other torpedoes from my other side, just like I did against the Clemson. And wait and see what happens. And there you go. So I hit him with one of those torpedoes and caused flooding again. Now you'll notice the damage, dot counter damage over time. He is flooding, and he can't do anything about it because he already used his heel. Now I should have gone a little further here and spotted him, but since he fired his guns, I thought I knew where he was, and it turns out I was wrong. So I put that spread behind him. He finally has started forward like I thought he would from the beginning, but I don't know, he might have been out of range anyway. Remember, only 5-kilometer range. But I figured, well, I could try to start a fire on him. And here's where I'm a little bit foolish, maybe a little greedy, because his guns are obviously pointing at me, and I pop out of my smoke. And I do get a fire started, but before I can reverse back into my smoke, oh, he gets to put a huge shot on me. That hurt. So, some more torps out, just in case he gets any ideas about turning around. Some more shots out, but he is burning, he is flooding, his damage control has been used. I think that's probably going to be it for him. So I'm coming back out again, lost sight of him in my smoke again, and there it is. So there's my first kill, and I earned a Liquidator award because I flooded him more than 40% of his health pool. So now I'm free to go into the enemy base, stop them from accumulating points. We're way behind here, and if you hadn't been paying attention, we're now down to 4 ships to their 7. So it's not looking too good. But I am in their base. I do see that they're sending a cruiser to deal with me, and so I send some preemptive torps that he may or may not run into. And I start heading for the furthest corner from where the cruiser is going to come in, so I can stop the counter as long as I can, and I check and see what's going on here. Now you'll notice to the south of me I've got a battleship coming up from below, so I'm not in a great spot. Now watching my torps, you can see they ran out just before he would have run into them, so a bit of bad luck there. So I put more torps out, and this is about when I noticed that he was on so little health. I kind of debated just firing at him, but I'm still worried about the battleship. Once I fire my guns, I'm visible for 20 seconds, and they both could have been shooting me. So I go ahead and I leave the cap. I lose my progress, and I put more torps out and then turn back the other way to just see what happens and watch where those torps go. And there you go. So now he's down, my second kill, and all I've got to worry about is this battleship, which I assumed would be charging me like crazy, because he needs to get up here and keep me from going back into the base. They know from before I was busily capping out their base, so I expected him to come full blast at me. I put torps out in his direction, and I'm back in there, and I'm just wondering what I'm going to do, because as soon as I smoke up, I've got one smoke left, but as soon as I smoke up, I'm not going to be able to see him, and no one else is around to spot for me, so I'll be blind, and I really don't want to be blind. So I'm just kind of figuring out what he's doing, and strangely he is not charging in at me. He's angling off, and I don't know what to make of that. So I head back toward him, thinking, well, he's going to turn at some point, and I'll put some torps that are close enough that they'll still be going when he closes the distance. Remember, my spotting is 6.1. My torps range is 5. So to hit him without being spotted, I'm relying on him making up the distance, meeting my torps. But he's still not doing it. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm almost halfway done capping your base, and I'm just being left alone as near as I can tell. Oh, and speaking of being left alone, you can see now the rest of my team has all been sunk. I'm the solo warrior, or at least the solo warrior is on the table. To earn that badge, you have to win a battle alone against at least 4 enemies, and as you can see, there's 6 enemies still angrily churning about, so I've got that on the table. And but I have no idea where anyone else is, and I don't know how close they might be getting. I just got to deal with what I can see, and this guy is just confusing me. I think he probably was confusing his team too, because I don't know what he was thinking. He should have just charged straight in, and even if I sank him, no matter what, all he had to do was come in here, stop my progress. You can see they're capping my base now. So even, whatever, the guy did the wrong thing, and I'm just waiting now for him to figure it out. He's finally heading toward me. I put yet more torps in his way. I'm thinking at this point I probably got it, but I want to make sure he doesn't just poke his nose in. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to hit him with maybe 4 or 5 torps to try to sink him. These torps are not all that powerful. And if I don't, then I don't know what I can do, because, again, once he's in the cap, even if I smoke up, whatever I do, I would lose. But as it turns out, we cap out. I think they actually shot at him toward the end there in frustration. Love to see their private chat. And you can see I got Liquidator. That was for over 40% of the health pool of the battleship I sank with torpedoes and fire. And I got the award for Solo Warrior. Now, as far as damage and all that, I've done way better in this ship. I've sunk like 6 or 7 enemy ships before. It really can have fantastic games. This wasn't one of those. In fact, just by numbers, it wasn't anything really special at all. But I did get my Solo Warrior, and that's really cool. And so I thought it was noteworthy enough to put it up there as a YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later.